So, Cup of Cheer manages to parody all those crappy Christmas romantic films that we're all so joyful and wonderful watching them this time of year. What was the actual Christmas film that tipped you over the edge to want to make this?
I, I don't think there was any specific one, and if there was, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. They're all so similar. I think just watching all of them in a blur back to back was probably what did it. I go to the UK every year for Christmas to visit family, and so I think it was just watching the very generic ones on Channel 5 when we said, okay, it's time to write this and just put all of those movies into one.
Also, you've also kept, all the staple hallmarks from those films as well, including the bad boy who's out to cause trouble in the town.
Yeah.
This guy has got a gross ailment of flatulence. Were there any scenes of this nature you thought maybe it was a step too far and it remained on the cutting room floor?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the movie is very ridiculous and not to be taken seriously at all. I think there's a lot of jokes like that where the joke is that this is something that would not traditionally be funny, like it's a stupid childish joke. But the juxtaposition of putting that in a Christmas movie was really funny to us. Those few gross out moments that come to such a glossy, shiny Christmas movie was really funny. There were a few moments with his character that were too far. There was like a scene near the end where he sort of did like this really villainous thing that we did end up cutting for sure. But a lot of the fine line of this movie was just trying to find what was funny without it going on too long, and what was funny because it was absurd, and there's so many different styles crammed in there that we just wanted a good mix of everything.
Okay, and you even managed to include a time-traveling Englishman in there. Whose idea was that?
Well, I don't know, you can't do a Christmas movie without a time-traveling Englishman. That's just a rule, I think. That was the rule when I was doing the Christmas movie.
Okay. Also, in these types of films, not the parody, obviously, there is a lack of diversity, and they normally, when they do come up, they're normally just stereotypes like the black and gay characters. Is there a fine line to keep that balance in the parody at all?
Yeah, we were obviously hyper aware of that, and that last year, when we were making this, that was sort of the peak of the criticism of all these types of films. So that was something that we really wanted to address, and I think this year you're seeing now all these Hallmark movies and stuff try to have these LGBT characters, and so that was something that we were really proud of. That actually, funny enough, almost every character in the movie is a little bit bi, a little bit gay, a little bit whatever. And yeah, we just, we wanted to make sure that those were real funny characters in a comedy, and that they weren't there to fill a quota or to be some type of weird stereotype. And so I think that's one of my favorite parts of the movie, is just how, even though it's totally silly, it's still super inclusive in front of the camera, behind the camera. And in terms of, all our LGBT storylines and everything, I think it's a nice movie where everybody can sort of enjoy it regardless.
Okay, you've also included that meet cute between your main characters as well. How many times did it take to actually get that sequence of tipping the giant cup of chocolate over Mary?
Just once, only once. We had one shot at it. And thankfully, Alexander Oliver, who plays Chris, has really good aim. And so if he missed that, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
You couldn't have really missed with a cup that size.
Yeah, exactly. But it was heavy, and it was heavy. It was minus 35 degrees out. There was a lot. We were about to lose the light. There was so much that could have, gone wrong there, and thankfully it didn't, and it looks really funny.
It does. Were there any improvised scenes at all?
A lot less than you would think. Our actors seem to like telling people in interviews that I make them read every line word for word, which is true. I do, we write very specific jokes and callbacks, and as a result, the wordiness of the joke sort of has to be stuck to in a certain way. But of course, our actors are so funny and all so incredible that there's so many little moments that were not scripted, little looks and little sight gags and little physical elements that just bring so much more to the movie the more times you watch it. And a lot of those things we found them on the day through just deciding what makes each other laugh, really.
Okay, and finally, what would be your ideal Christmas movie from either from the past or something that you'd like to see from the future?
I've always liked Elf. I think that is just such a nice mix of a perfect Christmas movie that's funny and it's sentimental and it makes you feel Christmassy. And I think it holds up really well. That's probably my favorite Christmas movie. And I would love to see Elf meets Cup of Cheer. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for talking to me today. That's it.